We talked about 25,400 being the target that essentially must be hit now that Bitcoin has fallen out of this 7-month-long trading channel, and Bitcoin having behaved much differently, having left the channel differently than when Bitcoin went under the last time at 20K and flew right back above to the top of the trading channel. Therefore, 25.4 needed to be hit. I gave 2 reasons in that video yesterday, and it ended up happening coincidentally about 2 hours after that video happened. So new viewers, because we can now confirm that my idea of July 1st at 21,300 or so being hit, which is, seems improbable to a lot of new folks coming on here, but my analysis essentially said that this is the exact target that price needs to hit very soon, and then it will lead Bitcoin down to here. Now that we can confirm that this is what's happening, therefore this is much more probable, I strongly suggest new viewers check out yesterday's video, watch it on 1.5 times speed to get through it sooner, and then come back to this video, because I don't think you can find anybody else on YouTube who's ranting and raving about this exact level and this exact EMA right there flashing. Said it's got to hit it before it even attempts to come back up here to the dotted line, which is my origin line, goes to the origin of price 14 years ago, and this blue line here is the 7-month-long trading channel that I already showed you, and I made myself invisible with my Harry Potter cloak, like this, if you want to take one more look at that sexy channel right there. Flashing my channel at you, right? So, in this video, if I can not cough, I am going to zoom into this area, and we're going to discuss what price can do in this yellow triangle and the 3 major options it has. It only has 3 major choices, but yellow triangles mean on my channel, and you won't find that concept anywhere else. It means that mostly due to liquidity purposes and Bitcoin and the biggest money holders who move Bitcoin price, they often use these as holding patterns before continuing the trend. They're waiting on the stock market. Therefore, in order to add to their positions, in this case short, just like they did back here in this bull trap that happened on a Saturday, Sunday, is ridiculous. Which is probably the same people who sold, honestly. But anyway, in yellow triangles, okay, it often is a holding pattern because it's the same big money that moves Bitcoin who are into stocks as well. They're probably not the same big. The biggest players in Bitcoin are not the biggest players in stocks, though, right? But the biggest players in Bitcoin are mostly focused on stocks, okay? It moves the same. It is led by stocks. So we're going to try to connect the 3 without even connecting the stock market. There are only 3 options, and the time limit is the weekend of Friday, June 16th. A decision has to be made, but about a 12% move up can happen and still be exceptionally bearish, and it will convince a lot of people to be bullish again, because if that were to happen, indicators would flip bullish. A lot of people would be going, this and that, and it's just going to dump on their faces because it's already condemned to come down to the next origin line down. Perhaps not by July 1st, but it's going to hit, period. And Bitcoin will go below 23K at this point. It's like exceptionally probable. So there are 3 main ways that price can move here, and it might flip you bullish. So don't get caught up in it. And that's one of the 3 ways. Let's go in here and get some dang Bitcoin. Oh. We're going to zoom into this area right here. Again, this is all 7 months long, 210 days, as you can see from here to here. All right. And as I'm zooming in, returning viewers and loyal members, this is where you hit like and leave a comment like algo. Even the word algo is fine. Help out your content creator, please. Don't make me beg. It does help me out quite a bit, though, along with and I'll try to delete any scammer comments who reply to you. I don't have Telegram, and also I typically have videos out by 10 a.m. It's going to be later today because I made the video, and as the HD was processing and taking way too long, I realized I didn't like the video. It was not top content for you, and I deleted the damn thing, and I'm remaking it. It's now 10:30, so it'll probably be 11:15. It's going to be over an hour late because I just didn't like the video. I'm sorry. And I'm going to make this one a lot better. Here we go. 3 main ways price can move. Yellow triangle, I've taken the opacity out of this, but you saw this on my video yesterday, right? Okay, just like that. It's the same exact thing. Now let's throw on what price is really focusing on, which is this monthly 10 down here The first thing is first. Let's go to the 15-second chart. 15-second candles. Oh my gosh, isn't that crazy? It is. I guess I had the music up a little bit too loud. There we go. Now, 15-second candles. Check it out. That's the monthly 10 EMA, but the monthly closure hasn't happened. So I'm using the daily 300 EMA because it's more precise. And I covered that in my video yesterday. New viewers, I really suggest you watch that video. I strongly suggest, because it's going to help you out so much for the first half of this month. It's going to help you out drastically. So we can confirm that that's what the bigger money, the folks with the most money in the room on Bitcoin are looking at, right? Now, the other big thing they're looking at is actually not the bottom of that channel, because price essentially already decided it was going below here, the bottom of the 7-month-long channel, but this was all a bull trap. It was. Now let's throw on the weekly 10. The second time it fell below, it was the weekly 10 EMA that price was essentially flirting with, got rejected and came down. It did not get rejected from this time. It showed its weakness by not using this as support back here. May 25th area, May 24th, May 25th is in this circle. And then it did a bull trap all the way back up to the point from which Bitcoin capitulated exactly 1 year ago, almost to the day, June 2022. That's when it started its descent to 17.5 in a hurry, and then floated around and then went to 15.5 several months later in November. It fell off this exact line a year ago. And if we look, actually, let's just look left. Let me put it on a bigger chart. So we did this yesterday, and I'll just do this fast. So look, this is last year. This is from where it fell off. The bull trap went exactly to that area. It did what I call it. So now we'll zoom back in. It did what I call a failure pattern above there in order to touch what? In order to get rejected from a line that I had wrong yesterday because I accidentally dragged it. So one update from yesterday's video is the quarter line was off. I had accidentally moved it. I was doing something stupid. It did a failure rejection pattern from the capitulation line, the biggest first or second biggest capitulation of the bear market, but it did a perfect rejection from the 1/4 line of the 7-month channel. And then a failure pattern above the capitulation line from a year ago, and then rejection from the slope line. So currently, the slope line of this move can be seen on the 5-minute chart. And this is where Bitcoin price is most likely getting ready to go. It's going to go flirt back with the weekly 10, which will be floating around the slope line. And the weekly 10 is essentially what's going to continue the slope line. But even without the weekly 10, this slope line is its own resistance structurally. So you have double resistance up here. I think it's highly unlikely that Bitcoin will go into this, let's put a red triangle. And this would be the second most likely upward target. It's unlikely that it goes into this area right here. Make it orange. Very unlikely. All right, so let me put some prices on there. 27.8. So this white dashed line is an origin line. It goes back to the origin of price. Bitcoin has never been below this origin line ever in its history. It's very bad. And the reason why I was able to be confident with, even when price was bullish, way up here, I said, I still think it's going to be July 1st, 22K, is because price had already shown that it was getting squeezed under. So now we're focused on this line here and this weekly 10 EMA. Historically, when price gets stuck in here and then gets squeezed down, do you see where it started accelerating? This is not a coincidence. I was talking about this before it happened. I'm telling you. So this is on May 23rd. Before May 23rd, I was talking about this. The exact thing. If you get squeezed from the weekly 10 to the origin line, and so the new viewers, this is why you hit like and subscribe and hit the bell for all alerts so I can deliver time-sensitive information to you in a time-sensitive fashion. Can't do it unless you hit the bell. Go back on my channel. Take a look. There's nobody else on YouTube. Okay, I get things wrong sometimes, right? But I do things in a unique way because I'm self-taught. Nobody else is talking about this. And this is where the volatility started because it was a squeeze play. Right? And it has long-lasting effects, and it's going to be condemned to hit the next origin line down. And it usually happens within a 45-day period, which means about July 1st. But if it happens to wait until August 1st or so to hit, then it'll still be like 22K. It's gonna go down. It's going down to the low 20s, okay? Because of this. And we're zoomed way in on like the 5-minute chart here. But every single time in history this has happened, it goes to the next origin line down with no exceptions. None. So why would anybody, you should not think there's going to be exception this time. All right, and we could see like that this is what big money was looking at. So after it got condemned, then zoom out, you got another bull trap over the weekend so big players could simply add to their shorts. That's all that was. And then once it hit that 1/4 line exactly to the T, then it came down, got rejected from it, and then got squeezed from the channel. So it already was under that origin line. Then it did the same type of play, a squeeze play down but using the channel, the 7-month channel, the bottom, and the weekly 10, and then got squeezed again. So where did it get volatile this time? At the weekly 10, getting squeezed below this. Another little triangle squeeze. Do you see this? It's just how price moves. So all eyes, okay, from a support standpoint, and I said these exact things yesterday. Watch. Check it out. I said all eyes should be on the monthly 10. Bitcoin is showing, this is from yesterday's video, major signs of weakness in a few regards. It has this wick way back here from, I believe, late April of 2022. This wick right here, perhaps where it meets this structural support, that could save Bitcoin. But, so that's the 25-4 line in one regard, but the monthly 10 is also there at bare minimum, need to go down to this wick here, which is 25,400, where it, and we just zoomed into that. Therefore, all eyes might want to be on 25,400 or the monthly 10. I have on here the daily. Therefore, if you see Bitcoin go below that monthly 10 or the daily 300, what that means is the likelihood of my target of July 1st being hit, it goes way above 50%. Because of the consequence of Bitcoin going below this origin line and getting trapped under the weekly 10. And that's from yesterday's video. And it's happening. Like, this is simply how price moves. So now that price is below both the origin line and this, the bottom of the trading channel, most of big money is now going to focus on just the EMAs. There is a moderate chance, okay, I wouldn't say tiny, but there is a moderate chance price tries to get rejected one more time from the bottom of this trading channel. It is possible, right? And that would take Bitcoin, but potentially as high as 28K again, potentially. But it's the least likely price path. And if it does, that's a 10% move. And this is where, look at that, 10%. You see that? So this is where people would start getting bullish again because all the indicators are going to start flipping. And even some weekly and monthly indicators not locked in will start continuing crosses up and stuff, but it's not going to be bullish. I'm telling you, 10% move up is still bearish. It has to get above that origin line right here, not just in the channel, above this origin line. And that's all the way back up above now, from where Bitcoin capitulated in its final capitulation down to 15.5. Well, then it hit 17.5 first and then 15.5. Exactly a year ago, June 2022. I don't think it can hit this again. But it could do a nasty move, 10% move up to about 28K. But that's the least likely price path in order to then go down to the 21, 22Ks before early July. So what is the most likely price path? Well, we know that price has already given up on both the origin line and the bottom of this trading channel. So now price is most likely going to get squeezed from this weekly 10. I'll make that red. And the monthly 10. And it is extremely likely to form some type of descending triangle that a lot of people will be talking about once it's a triangle, but I'm telling you now, it's probably going to make a triangle. What other YouTubers are out there telling you the shape it'll make before it happens? Nobody. They talk about triangles as they're happening. I'm telling you before it happens. This is probably going to make a triangle. It's the most probable price path. Is it guaranteed to happen? No. But it is the most probable price path. Just like this. It doesn't have to be this exact squiggly thing. I mean, hell, it could hang out at the lower end and then, so sometimes it goes like this, hangs out here, dips below, gets back in, and then pops its head up and then gets rejected. That's another probable price path. But then people won't be talking about a descending triangle, even though that's literally what's happening. Because all eyes, monthly 10 and the weekly 10. And the reason I said that yesterday is because that's what big money's focusing on. And you only want to analyze price through the eyes of the biggest bags of money, what they are looking at. And now that the origin line's out of play, the bottom of the channel will only be used as a resistance, but it's already been failed twice, once and then twice behind my head here. I think it's out of play. The only reason why it would be hit on a 10% move up is to add to shorts, just like what happened back here on a Saturday, Sunday, a 9% move up. 9% move up on a weekend. When does Bitcoin move 9% on a weekend in this market? Like, it hasn't, right? And I don't think it'll happen twice, but it could. It's possible, especially because the stock market is not looking weak at all. It's looking quite strong. So I would not keep out of question the bottom of this 7-month-long channel around 28K being hit one more time, but it is the least likely. Most likely is, so that's the second, I would say, tied for the second or third most likely. The first most likely is triangle. Telling you it's going to most likely form a triangle before it happens. Okay, you're welcome. So new viewers, that's why you hit like and subscribe and hit the bell for all alerts. And I cannot deliver time-sensitive information to you in a time-sensitive fashion without you hitting the bell, unless you check out the Discord community or the YouTube tiers. Links to that are in the description sections of almost all of my normal videos, public videos, and this is the event calendar for the community on Discord for this week, along with a nice free economic heat map so you know what's going on with stocks. Let me go ahead and take off the like and sub stuff. All right. The third most likely price path is that the reason I think it's the third most likely, so the second most likely probably is coming back up to high 27s. But the most probable is the triangle. The third most probable, and it's only the third most probable because the stock market is so strong, is that no triangle is formed, but Bitcoin price starts giving up or going below the daily 300 EMA or the monthly 10, but the reason I'm using the daily 300 EMA instead of the monthly 10 is because the monthly candle has not closed, therefore it looks like it's up here if you actually use the monthly 10, and it's wrong. Daily 300 EMA is much more accurate between closures of months. So we're not close to a closure, we just had a closure, right? And price has fallen since then. So use the daily 300 EMA. So once price goes below the daily 300 EMA, if that happens, it's going to be really bad because the stock market is strong and Bitcoin would be falling. And that means the bigger money who had any interest at all in Bitcoin, they're going to start being more interested in stocks. They're going to get their money out of Bitcoin, which means a huge move down, like probably new lows. It could happen. That's not my most probable price path, but just watch out because if stocks keep going up and Bitcoin loses this, it could cause a bigger capitulation than it could cause a really big one, folks, because big money would, the biggest players, in Bitcoin are playing with stocks with even more money. So if they see this as weak and stocks are strong, they will take their money out of crypto, folks. I'm telling you. And we already know altcoins are way overvalued, like, at least if you're a returning viewer, we already know these things. Like, they have not dropped enough, folks. They have not. Ethereum maybe has, but most altcoins aren't even close to being where they need to be. These altcoins have no business having zero revenue and being a market valuation, a market cap of over $1 billion. And there's like 50 of them on CoinMarketCap. They are not worth $1 billion market cap. I'm sorry. It's not even close to being done, right? So anyway, but the first steps first, hit the next origin line down around 22K, 21 to 22K, depending on when it gets there. And we've covered that yesterday in yesterday's video. Okay, the third most probable price path, and again, it's only third because the stock market is strong, is it starts losing this line, the daily 300. So ways that this could happen, sure, it could come up first, without forming a triangle in an extended fashion. It might, come up to here real fast, but then when it comes back down, since this is the line that price is looking at, it will go, so let's extend this guy. This is exceptionally likely how it'll move. Price it would come back down. It might miss it at first, then come back up. Maybe even make another higher high, something to this effect. and then it'll start going below it. It'll take out the punch low, but it might get rejected from that line first, bump its head, take out that punch low, or come up one more time to get rejected from the punch. So the punch low means the first time it goes below it, it punches through with some sell pressure. It'll come up for one last lower high, and then it will accelerate. And it'll look something very similar to that. Getting rejected from the daily 300 EMA. That would be the third most probable price path. I would put that as the second most probable if the stock market weren't so strong. So when can you know, what can you look at on the stock market to say, hey, this is now like the failing first and making no triangle? When does that become the second most probable? That is if you use the US 500 chart. Literally just type in US 500. And it should, well, that's actually not the same one. I use Pepperstone. Type it in, take it off of crypto, and use the Pepperstone chart. If the US 500 goes below 4181, that is when that price path I just went over, not forming a triangle, but going under the daily 300 or the monthly 10, that's when it becomes the second most probable. Is if this chart goes below 4181. And I'll zoom out so you can see what this looks like. Take off the indicators. And you are looking at 2 years of price history. This is a 1 year long trading channel that it's in right now. And if it dives back into the point of control, that means it's getting weak again because it did not use the top of the point of control as support. Went below a key horizontal, which is here, which is like years long. It goes back a couple years ago. And if it loses that line, then Bitcoin is much, much, much more likely to simply give up or go under the daily 300 or the monthly 10. But it's not until 4181 on the US 500 Pepperstone chart until that happens. So you might want to keep an eye on it. You don't have to make it look fancy. Just mark off 4181 on this chart and refer and maybe put an alert. And that's when you can expect Bitcoin to start getting really weak and start going to, let me show you the origin line chart now. I got to jump on my Discord. Got a VIP call coming up. So this is the origin line chart here. I'll go to the daily. So you can see how this works, new viewers. And I'll throw on the weekly 10 so you can see that squeeze. Just every time, it has to touch this line. Like it will. Does it have to get it by July 1st? No, but if it happens by August 1st, it's still 22,000s. And it'll probably wick below and probably go to 22. So it's going to this area. It's going to around 21 to 23K. It gets almost locked in. It's exceptionally probable at this point. But I can't stress enough. It's exceptionally probable, like way greater than 50% at this point. Well, it's over 50% at this point. It's not below the monthly 10 yet. So once it goes below the price goes below the monthly 10, which is here, which is what we're focused on. Oop, that's not it. That's it. Once it goes below the white line from the other chart and this chart here, I guess, then it becomes like way, way higher than 50%. But right now, it's already over a 50% chance that this line's going to be hit. It's significantly higher, measurably higher than 50%. It's only a question of when does it get there. But about four live public YouTube videos ago, I showed you why I thought July 1st, measured out all the historical times that cross red weekly 10 with an origin line. It usually happens within a 45-day period, and I measured it from that time, and it pretty much is condemned to do that. All right, and that's what it looks like on this chart, a little bit simplified. So be careful. I'm going to leave you with this thought. I'm going back to my yellow triangle area. Wrong side, sorry. So watch out for the relationship of price with these three things. This is all you need to do your own TA until the weekend. So listen to what I'm about to say, until the weekend of Friday, June 16th, that whole weekend. So Saturday the 17th, Sunday the 18th, that whole weekend. Yesterday's and today's analysis will get you by until that time. All right. especially if price stays above the monthly 10. If price goes below the monthly 10 before then I have to make a new analysis. So whichever event comes first. But all you need to do for your own TA is understand, first off, price can get really volatile to the upside, have a 10% move and still be very bearish. And a lot of YouTubers will be saying, oh, bullish divergences, this and that, and crossing up. No, it's still bearish. Please ignore that. Wherever you hear if 28K or high 27s is hit, it's not bullish. It's not bullish, period. It's not bullish. I can't not stress it enough. It'll just be a failure pattern above. Failure pattern means it just goes a little bit above the weekly 10, just like it did here, right? That's all it will be. That's the first thing to keep in mind. The second thing to keep in mind is all you need is the price's relationship with the daily 300 EMA, price's relationship with the weekly 10 EMA or the daily 70, and then also this slope line here. All you do is connect the last two moves up where Bitcoin went to 28.5 on a weekend, and then on also the next Sunday. So here's the Sunday to Sunday, Sunday wick to Sunday wick, adding to their shorts on weekends. That's all that. It's the same people the same person who bought here, are the same people who sold here and sold here. It's the same group, folks. Potentially coordinated groups. But anyway, so this slope line is from these Sunday wicks. And price is probably going to interact with that. In addition to that, remove price. You also need to focus on the relationship of the monthly 10 with the weekly 10, because if they start crossing, guess what? It's going to squeeze price down. So not even considering price, just the relationship of this red line with this white line down here. And then also the relationship of the slope line with the weekly 10. If the weekly 10 is writing this, that means money that moves Bitcoin needs more time to wait for the stock market to do something. And the farthest that they can extend it, and I gave the reason why yesterday, it has to do with this cross here, with this the cross from last June, the capitulation line crossing the channel. They only have till the weekend of Friday, June 16th. So the relationship of this, if the weekly 10 stays here, that means they're trying to delay the move because a choice has to be made by then. It has to be. And the relationship of the weekly 10 with that shows you if it stays close, that means it's a holding pattern. Therefore, micro trend within this yellow triangle is a little bit more useless because it's just going to float around price will float around like a plastic bag in the wind. But if the weekly 10 relationship with this slope line starts getting more aggressive down, that means, so not even looking at price, just the weekly 10 with the monthly 10, or the weekly 10 separating from the downside from the slope line, that means the move is likely going to happen before the weekend of Friday, June 16th, not even focusing on price. You're just, forget about price. You're focusing on the relationship of 1 and 3 together. If the weekly 10 separates to the downside from the slope line, that's what it means. The move's going to happen faster. So know how to use these three things, and you will be able to conduct your own analysis better than anybody else besides me probably on YouTube who's conducting Bitcoin analysis only using this. I'm giving you all the tools and trying to show you how to use them. But don't forget, a 10 to 12% move up it would be designed to trick you. It's still bearish. It's just a rejection from a 7-month-long channel that just booted price out. Do not forget that, because that is the second most probable price path because the stock market is so strong. That is what I'm leaving you with. I really hope any new viewers, if you liked what you saw, go ahead and subscribe. Feel free to check out the community again that is behind me. There are links in the description section showing given a 90-second video on what the YouTube tiers are. And again, the major difference between YouTube tiers and the Discord is Discord folks come on with their microphones and share screens and turn on their cameras if they so choose and interact directly and live with me. And the YouTube tiers don't have that access, but the daily updates and all that stuff are similar for both types, I guess, parallel communities. With that, we'll see you next time. And again, this analysis will get you through the first half of June. I hope you found it helpful. Later.